What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bolero. Sam here with Gab and Maui. Hello again, guys. What
No, after another tiring day of watching basketball, four
Lagare.
games a day, UAAP,
Lagare.
Lagare.
what are you
Lagare.
doing?
Lagare UAAP. So Lagare din tayo. We have to, we watched all the games today. So we have to comment on all the games, syempre.
Yes, sir. But before that, this is part two of our episode. If you haven't seen the previous episode, we talked about probably the game of the season so far, that it was so good that it deserved its own episode. Ganun kaganda yung game na yon. Check out the UP Lasal Instant Reactions episode that we did. You can just go to our channel. But if you've seen that, then today, for this episode, we are going to talk about the rest of the games that happened nung Wednesday. Now, Wednesday night ngayon, we're going to talk about the games that happened earlier today. The three games before UP and LaSalle were the Ateneo UST game, NUUE game, and then the FEU Adamson game. So to to talk about those games, we're going to do one of the
Classic.
listeners' favorite
Classic
segments, I would
segment.
say, classic segment. We're gonna
Our
do
staple.
staple segment. We're gonna do ballers and boleros of the day. So let's get started. Maui, kick us off with your bolero of the day.
Yeah,
Sorry. Sige,
bo-
bolero of the day muna. Bolero muna.
bolero muna
Go.
tayo of the day. Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you guys off air. My bolero of the day are two names. First is Precious Momoway, and then the second is JD Kagulangan. I think si Precious Momoway deserves to be a bolero because I don't think he has scored in double figures the past
Wait,
few
JD
games.
Kagulangan?
Yeah, I will
Talaga?
explain later.
Oh,
Yeah, I will
sige.
explain later why
Go
I
ahead,
think
go ahead.
she warrants a bolero of the day. Si Precious Momoway still has that motor, gets the rebounds, gets those some blocks and steals, but man, he really struggles on the offensive end on the floor the past few games. Kanina was another evidence. I think he didn't score in double figures again. He shot 3 for 15 kanina. For a big man, that's atrocious for a starting big man. And I think part of that is why UE is starting to struggle. Aside from teams starting to cover, Ray Remo got better the past few games. I think Precious Momwe has really struggled to give that offensive boost. But mind you, he still has that motor. He's still active as hell. And we like that. He might be bolero of the day, but I think hopefully he can get past this and have bigger games in the second round. Now, my second bolero of the day has to be JD Kagulangan. And it's not because he was called for an
Wow.
unsportsmanlike foul on Mark Nonoy during the crucial time. I think it's more of he
Parang
shot the
hindi naman
ball.
sadya yun, Maui, no? Yung
Yeah, parang di naman
unsportsmanlike.
sadya. If you
Intentional.
watch the if you watch the game, you would have been entertained by Coach Gold murmuring some profanity on the referees because he was
Explicit.
shocked that because he
Parang
was
hindi
shocked.
sadya. But then again, JD has had a history of doing,
Yeah,
let's say, questionable stuff.
yeah,
To to be fair, si
yeah,
JD mas notorious. Si Diop, hindi. Talagang historically, parang wala naman. But si JD medyo notorious nga naman.
maybe
But this
that
one,
played the
parang
hand.
hindi naman.
Yeah, maybe that played the hand why they called that foul.
Possible.
But
Possible.
yeah, JD Kagulangan shot 2 for 11. We were mentioning JD Kagulangan as a guy that we were waiting to break out. Haller de Larcon had his breakout game last game. He also had a good game kanina, both on both ends of the floor. He hit some good shots, and I think yung most precious in defense talaga niya kay Kevin Chambao nung dulo ng game. If you watch our previous episode, Gab mentioned that. But yeah, JD Kagulangan was forcing shots for me nung end game. They were leading by 3 and then he took 2 ill-advised 3-pointers. I mean, he can hit those shots. We know that, but maybe UP could have set up a better play and seal the game easily. It was very tense. It was a very tense game. They almost lost a game on a CJ Austria putback, and I think that JD just has to really calm down and wait. He will have his big game. That is something that will definitely happen. So yeah, I think those are my first two picks for Boleros this week for the games held today. Napapag-week na kasi 4-day games eh.
Okay. Okay, sige. I have two. I also have two boleros. My first bolero, and we've been talking about this. My first bolero is 4 game days, just like today. I have to say na bolero yung ganitong schedule. I'm sorry, but it's just crazy. Number one, they always do it on a weekday, diba? Every Wednesday we have these 4 game days na a lot of the fans may work. Ako, I didn't get to watch all the games kasi I have work. I have work. Fortunately, UP Lasal ang panood ko, diba? And fortunately, meron naman tayong app now so we can watch highlights and the replays. But how do they expect people to watch all these games or to attend the games kung they do it on a weekday and then they start at like 10 a.m.? Second, kahit na may oras ka manood, even if they're exciting games, as a fan, you just feel drained after all those 4 games. For me, it's crazy, no? It's just so draining and medyo napapagod na ako, to
12 to
be
8
honest,
lagi.
with
Or
these
even worse, sometimes hanggang
games.
9.
I know, I do understand that condensed season, di ba? Okay. Sorry about that. We're having technical difficulties here. Masyado
The
kaming
internet.
na-excite. Hindi kinayanan ng internet. But anyway, I was saying, my first bolero is 4 game days. Because number one, it's as fans, as much as you want to watch the games, especially the ones on Wednesdays, you can't because some of us have school, some of us have day jobs. So, ang hirap manood. Second, if you do have time to watch, nakakapagod manood. And we've had 4 game days on a weekend. Ubos araw mo. Buong araw mo ubos. Just watching these games. And for us fans, we love to watch all the teams kahit na we're only cheering for one school or two schools. We
Yup.
love to watch all the games. Lalo na tayong mga may podcast, di ba? So for me, I have to call out 4 game days. They have to be one of my boleros
Tigil nyo na.
of the day. Oo, tigil nyo na. Please
Titings na
lang. But I
ulit.
do
It
understand it's a
doesn't.
condensed season kaya
It also doesn't make
uh
sense
they
business-wise,
had
'di
to.
ba?
Yeah.
Diba? It also doesn't make sense yung business-wise because they won't be selling tickets in those early games. Who will go? Who will watch those early games? You know, the Ateneo USD game earlier, barely
Wala.
anyone was there.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't make sense. These 4 game days. It, it's just a bad look. And you won't get casual fans also into it, you know, by
Yeah.
having a game at 10 in the morning. And it's also another bad thing about it is kasabay siya ng women's. So diba? If you want to promote women's basketball, which is already on the Pilipinas Live app. So if you guys want to check out women's basketball, there's a lot of good games there. Pero diba, if you want to watch basketball, bakit ka maglalagay ng competition for the women's basketball in the men's basketball? Diba? It's much better na hiwalay mo yung schedule. This just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Bring back TTH UAAP basketball. The 4 game days are crazy. Kahit weekend, kahit weekday, weekdays are worse because as Sam mentioned, how can we watch the games? I mean, kahit yung may school, kahit yung may trabaho, I mean, it's crazy. How can you watch from sometimes 8 o'clock to 8, sometimes 12 o'clock to 8? So it's crazy. How can you expand the net? How can you expand the fan base if you do it this way? Wala na rin yung excitement to watch the game before when you watch your school play. I think that's one thing that was evident before. You just separate tickets is crazy also. But I understand that more than the four game days. Hopefully they shy away with this in coming seasons. It's crazy.
Okay, it's my turn to pick a bolero for today, and I will just have to give it to UST. Uh, they're now 0-6, six, right? I think that's yeah. They're 0-6. They actually made it a game a while ago. They kept it close until the third quarter, and then nothing happened in the fourth. Well, actually, in the third quarter pa lang, medyo iniiwan na sila ng Ateneo with Joe Abasa getting, I think, 10 straight points or
Four
12 straight
four
points.
straight 3 point plays, I think, when the quarter
Yep.
opened.
And you just have to question what's going on in UST. They're also not very creative on offense. If there's a bolero also, it's gotta be Coach Pido. Um, it's just a lot of screen and roll, isolation yung Nick Cabanero, yung isolation yung Christian Manaytay, and nothing is happening for UST right now. And the body language, I think you talked about this, Mao, before we came on. Nick Cabanero did mention that their body language just isn't there anymore. They look like a team that's disheartened and don't want to. They're not playing together anymore. Uh,
It's a
and I
bad look.
said this. It's a bad look, and I said this during our last episode that they should contemplate just sitting out their veterans, sitting out Nick Cabanero, and just trying the new guys. Just see if someone's good. Maybe someone can shine. I know USC wants to get a win, but at the expense of probably Nick Cabanero's health and just embarrassing themselves even further. I just think they should just tank the season. Tank, you quote unquote. Of course, they're not getting anything, but just see what they have in the younger guys. See what they have for next season. Uh, Obviously the vets they have now are not it. Paul Manalang is not it. It's not the answer at point guard. Kenji Duremdes has showed flashes, but not really. This guy Crisostomo, I liked him during the first game, but he hasn't really done much. Who's the other guy?
Pangilinan.
Ecolaure.
Pangilinan.
Si
The other
Pangilinan, just
Diamond.
because he's been there for so long. Yeah, no, he's not the future of this team. And Ecolaure, I'm sorry, yung Jeremy Mahinay 2.0.
Grabe.
So, totoo naman eh. He looks like Jeremy Mahinay. He plays like Jeremy Mahinay. He fouls like Jeremy Mahinay. So, I don't get why you play him. Play someone else. Yun, USD, the vibes are just so bad in USD right now. And I don't know. Now I'm doubting whether Coach Pido was even the right man for the job. Because honestly, the
There's nothing. Yeah.
defensive schemes are not there. The offensive schemes are. They look like what he did in Northport, and he never won in Northport. So, try something else, Coach Pido. You can't always run screen and roll in isolations for Nick Cabanero. That's not gonna get you anywhere. And if there's one bright spot, well, maybe in our ballers later, maybe I'll name him. But yeah, other than that, UST horrible season so far. And
19
we're
game
boleros
streak.
too for getting sucked into UST's recruits. They're not even using their recruits.
Yes, SG Moore still continues to play sparingly. But maybe they'll surprise us in season 87. Pero baka doon baliktad naman. Ma-underrate naman natin sila, hopefully. But yeah, it's sad. We've been talking about UST. They're now, I think, on a 19-game losing streak dating back to last season. Tama ba? Because they started 1-0 and then lost their next 13 games and then now they're 0-6. So officially,
19
the
games.
UAAP, where the games matter, where only where it matters, where it only matters, the UAAP, they're on a 19-game losing streak. They're now threatening to go to, I think, UP. UP during the time of sila Budico had a 20 plus game losing streak. They're on the verge of being on the wrong side of history, this UST core. And it's sad considering they have a talent like Nick Caballero and the leader who still, despite them losing 19 straight, we still have to give a shout out to him for continuing to fight. I think he's trying to keep them upbeat. He could have easily left. He could easily just not play the right way, but he's still trying. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's time to go to our ballers of the day. Uh, Maui, who's your baller for the 3 games today? Or the 4 games, if you want to include the UP Lasal one?
Yeah, I think I mentioned two boleros. I'll mention two bowlers. My first bowler has to be Jerry Abadiano. Jerry Abadiano, as usual, will be a pest on defense, but he had a hell of an offensive game kanina. He hit timely shots. He hit the game-winning shot, in my opinion. So yeah, this guy is someone we underrated, and he's showing out. This is UP really showing how deep their lineup is. Anyone can play a good game. Anyone can have a breakout game. And definitely Jerry Abadiano has been very good, especially with the absence of Terence Fortia. Like Gab mentioned during our last episode. My other baller of the day has to be Chris Kuhn for Ateneo. Say what you want about Ateneo. I mean, we have been pessimistic. We have been optimistic. It's
He's a
been a
baller
roller.
for finally finishing with his right hand, not just with his left.
Yeah. Say what you want about Ateneo. We've been up and down, optimistic, pessimistic. I've been hit in the comment section by our subscribers for being high and low on Ateneo, but they're now 3-3, tied for third. And I think this is the game that Chris Kuhn really broke out. Not the game against Lasal. This was the game that he broke out. He was aggressive right from the get go. I think this was his season high in points, and despite I think he scored 21 points, and I think yung pinaka-glaring for me, pinaka-important is he really took the charge. When UST was going on their runs, he found a way to draw fouls, drive the basket, and he hit timely threes definitely. So yeah, I think this is Chris Kuhn's breakout game. Hopefully he can build up on this. Definitely he is a baller of the day. Yeah.
Sammy, yeah, you have a baller for today?
Nako,
Oh, yung nawala si Sammy.
nawala.
Okay,
Hello.
You'll have to go for, ayan, Sammy's back.
Okay. Nawala na naman ako.
go.
You're
We can hear you though.
Okay, sige, game. So, my baller of the day, probably someone that we haven't talked about a lot. Someone from NU. I'm gonna go with Jake Figueroa. From NU. I feel
Oh,
like this
that's a
guy
good
has
one.
been super underappreciated. But this guy has been balling. This guy has been balling. And Maui, I think you were the one who pointed him out nung preseason pa lang. Jake Figueroa working on his 3-point shot and on his entire game. I think last week he was actually named Player of the Week.
player of the week.
Earlier to Player of the Week. Earlier today he scored another double. I think scored 12 points, grabbed 10 rebounds. Didn't hit a 3-point shot today, but he didn't need to. They won convincingly. But the wings of NU looking for someone to sort of step up. Si Figueroa, si Malonzo, si Jolo. I think
Sala.
Jake Figueroa's game and season so far has been super underrated, and I would say he's probably the best wing of NU right now. Most of the time, the attention goes to like the scoring or flashy guards of NU or Omar John or Gab's favorite Mr. Palasielo, who did well today, by the way,
Played
Yeah.
who did
well.
well today, but I think credit needs to go to Jake Figueroa. for being such an important part of this team, especially this season.
Yeah.
I see you, Jake Figueroa. Love what you're doing. Gotta give him my baller of the week.
Yeah, I actually agree. I had him in the list of possible ballers for the day. He's had back to back double doubles already in big games against LaSalle and against UE. And what's underrated also is his presence on defense. He's a very good wing defender.
He's
That's one
long.
thing I observed.
He's long.
He's very strong. He's now quicker on his feet, and he plays the passing lanes really well. So yeah, I totally agree. He was there on my list. Jake Figueroa, his offensive game still needs a bit of work. Honestly lang, I mean, it's far from the ideal of what I think the NU community and what Coach Jeff Napa imagines for Jake Figueroa. Maybe a guy who has a tighter handle, can create off the dribble you more efficiently, and can shoot threes and be a knockdown shooter consistently. But he hasn't been that. But he runs the floor, he grinds on defense. Sometimes he can hit that long range bomb, not as often, but yeah, he's been very solid for NU and a
Yeah.
big contributor to why they are 5-1. Maui.
Yeah, I think Gab, a good comparison to him, it just went to my mind is yung peak, yung ceiling niya kan di Mac Bello from FEU. Think he can be that kind of guy, somebody
Ooh.
who is disruptive, somebody who can hit the outside shot and hopefully develops more yung shot making and playmaking capabilities niya. So yeah, I have to agree with Sam. Unfortunately, Sam is going in and out of the video because of technical difficulties. But yeah, we agree definitely. Si Figueroa, I've been high on this guy since the off season. Kung si Gap may PJ Palacelo sa NU, ako may Jake Figueroa. He's finally balling out. Last two games has been very crucial. And I think for NU to really become that contender, we mentioned these other guys have to step up. Manansala, Malonzo, Palacelo, and definitely si Figueroa has to step up for them to have a higher ceiling this season.
All
Gab,
right.
who are your
Okay. So
ballers?
I do have some names, and I'm not gonna go for the usual big names, the guys we know. I'm gonna go for guys who I think are very underappreciated, who I think are quietly having really good seasons. One, a guy from UE, Welo Lingo Lingo. This guy is
Sharpshooter.
now the new
Yeah.
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
new CJ Payawal. He's now their
Oo nga,
new
actually,
knockdown shooter.
good
Oh,
comparison.
and
Good comparison.
diba?
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to take those shots. Ray Remogat finds him often in the corners or the top of the key and kickouts, and he knocks them down. He's quietly having a pretty good underrated season. Um, and uh, overall, no, UE shooting is just well, it's keeping them in the game at some in the game to something, but it's also what's keeping them out of the game when they go really cold. And I think I'd want to expand on that later. But yeah, Welo Lingo Lingo, I think has to be given a baller for the day. And actually for the season, he's been really good for UE. My second baller of the day is another guy who's very underrated, Miguel Ona of FEU. I think it's pretty underrated what he's doing in the absence of any
Undersized.
stellar play from Muhammad Fati. He's
Undersized
playing
build.
as there's yeah, and
Nawala
not
pa
only
si...
without the stellar
Yeah.
play of Muhammad Fati, without Cholo Anunuevo,
Yeah.
he's now the big guy in charge. Big guy, he's not that big, but he's the one taking charge of the paint for FEU. He grinds on the offense. He doesn't score a lot of points. Doesn't get fancy passes or have great stat lines. But he grinds on defense. He grinds on the offensive glass. He grinds on the defensive glass. He switches pretty well. Again, he's a very undersized big. He's able to move his feet. I think FEU has survived this season without Mo Fati largely because of guys like Miguel Ona. And as a baller as a whole, FEU, they've now won two straight.
Yeah.
Two
LJ
straight games.
Gonzalez,
Even though it was a
back-to-back
pretty
games.
ugly game a while ago.
Good point. Good point.
Pretty
Grindhouse.
damn ugly game.
Grindhouse. I think
Yep.
si Pong Ducanes mentioned, di ba, I shared with you guys, this is the lowest scoring game in the post-pandemic era of the UAAP. No surprise, the other game, the lowest game is also from FEU. So FEU is the
Oh,
grindhouse team. We
I
know
remember
this.
that game.
Yeah, yeah.
It
I
was
think that was
played
against
in
Enyo. Tama ba?
NU
Enyo ba?
din. NU din.
Enyo rin?
Oh, NU rin.
I think Gab, you mentioned that game previous season, yung third
Kaso,
quarter.
Adamson yung kanina, hindi NU, guys.
Yeah, NU. Pero NU, di ba, yung previews. I think we talked about
Yeah,
this sa previous
NU
season,
yung
yung
previous.
we were surprised third quarter, the score was only 20 plus something for both teams. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, actually got to add lang to what you said about FPU. I think LJ Gonzalez also deserves yung as an honorable mention baller of the week for me. As usual, during crunch time, much like the game against Ateneo, he delivered. He hit crucial shots. So yeah, we call this FPU is finally on the winning track. They had to start 0-4 again. Di na pumayag 0-5 pero 0-4 pa rin sila nag-start. But yeah, they're a game behind Final Four contention. So much like what Gab said, they're in the race. That's what's important.
Yep. And they're playing better. Honestly, on defense, I like how they're playing on defense. They're really grinding. They're switching a lot. They're closing out on shooters. They're trapping when needed. So they're surviving that way. And again, a big, not a big, but a factor there is are guys like Miguel Ona. And I also want to give shout outs to their other quote unquote bigs, James Tempra and Bagunu.
Bugunu.
I mean, they're not the stars of FEU, but they do their role. So I think they've survived their small ball lineups because of those three guys playing bigger than their heights. Other ballers I've talked about him for around a week now. Christian Manaytay. Guys, if there's one bright spot for UST this season, it's this guy.
Hindi na
Christian
one-man show.
Manaytay.
Hindi na one-man show.
He's been
I
balling.
love watching him play. He's 6'4" and he's eating taller guys in the paint. As in, he just
Ganda ng footwork talaga eh. The footwork.
Yep, his footwork in the paint is top notch. We were talking about this, Maui. If he were 6'7", 6'8", he would dominate in the UAAP. Honestly,
Probably be consideration sa Gilas. To be
Diba?
honest, with the skills.
yeah, and he showed in the game earlier against Ateneo. He has a perimeter shot. He just doesn't use it as much because they run a lot of post ups for him. And he's successful in those post ups. So why does he go? He's not being given the shot outside, but he can do it. So if there's one bright spot for UST this season, it's him. I think he's next to Nick Caballero. Of course, he gets all the highlights, but I think he's been the most impressive player for UST. I love what he brings. You mentioned Maui. He was recruited by LaSalle. He didn't play there much. So now he's in UST. And I'm happy for him that he's getting the minutes and he's getting not the recognition because, UST is 0-6. But you're getting the recognition from me.
Makaka-pro yan.
You're getting the recognition from me.
I wouldn't be
Christian
surprised.
Yeah. I see you. Don't worry. I got you.
Yeah.
Sammy, you have any baller for you have any other baller?
I think Maui mentioned it. The entire UP team has to be a baller of the week. That was a really good game. Jerry Abadiano again had one of the best performances of the season so far, and I think each and every game UP wins. The teams are, I think, scratching their heads on trying to
What to
figure
do
out how to
next?
exactly.
what what to do in the
That's
second round?
sobrang convincing wins despite some of the close games. It's just hindi mo alam eh. Hindi mo alam how to beat this team kasi if one player or a few players don't do well, laging someone else will step up. So UP, the UP community, the UP fans have to be a baller of the week. Sorry, my internet is really bad, but I also just wanted to shout out. I haven't checked, so I don't know. Comment down below na lang. I know the UP women's basketball team was
Yeah,
also
6-0.
unbeaten. Nanalo ba sila
6-0.
sa Lasal?
Yeah,
6-0 na
panalo
rin.
sila,
Yeah, they did.
6-0.
They
So
won.
I have to bring that up.
Pati juniors na
And
siguro.
put them
Pahataw.
as my ballers of the week. I think the past 2 weeks, yung player of the week sa women's division have been UP players, two different UP players. I think yung first one was their FSA and then the other one, iba naman yung guard nila na magaling. So kudos to UP for um reviving the women's basketball program as well. And I know they have a lot of um top recruits coming in also, most coming from the Gilas women's team also. Who knew na at this stage, the team that's unbeaten is UP and not NU, di ba? I mean, sanay na tayo, NU, 100-game winning streak. Champion for the, like past
Six
7
yata.
seasons or
6 or
something.
7. Yeah. You're
It's
right.
crazy. So I just wanted to say kudos to UP for that, for setting that up. Go
Yeah.
Maui, you were
All right.
saying.
Yeah.
I was gonna add lang,
Go ahead.
Mau.
Yeah.
Just if only we had the bandwidth and the time, we would love to cover women's basketball, especially now that you
It's on the
can
rise.
watch
Yeah,
it.
it's easier to watch.
Yeah.
Which is something that I will say, honorable mention na ballers. I think I have to shout out yung Pilipinas Live app. It's been a blast to finally have easy access using mobile. I think we struggled with this during previous seasons after nawala ng ABS-CBN.
Yes.
Now, even if I'm out, even if I'm not in front of a computer or in front of a TV, I can finally watch UAAP games. It's very friendly to all students, very friendly to everyone, especially the working class. Kasi di naman tayo lagi in front of di ba, the TV or with a laptop. So I'm happy. I have to shout out to Pilipinas Live. So far, there have been minimal issues compared to Signal Play. They're operated by the same group, but finally, an app that's okay and working.
And to add, Maui, you the Filipinos abroad can also watch through the Pilipinas
Yeah.
Live app.
Yun pa.
Albeit through
Higher
a higher fee. Just can't say that. I mean, talagang pineperahan lang tayo ng Signal. But at least they gave us a better product. At least yun. I mean, I said this in seasons past.
Finally,
I would be willing to pay, diba? I would be willing to pay for a service like this. The problem is that's me. I'm not sure if other fans are willing to pay, diba?
yeah. Next step, YouTube.
That's kind of the the next step is putting them on YouTube. Yeah, you know, get casual fans to watch the games, man. But yeah, again, I'm not complaining. They did raise the prices prior to the UAP season, so they're not shy about trying to get our money. So,
Yeah.
siguro minor baller lang sila, Maui. Yung minor baller. Yung maganda yung produkto.
Honorable mention. I remember this. I only remembered. Only wanted to shout out Pilipinas Live because I mentioned. I think I don't know if in this episode or the previews, my cousins and I had a watch party on Discord. The only thing negative about Pilipinas Live is you can't stream it to other people, but yung Signal Play is still horrendous. I mean, yung varsity channel on Signal Play, the whole game nag-stutter. So I'm happy with Signal, with Pilipinas Live so far. Hopefully the service will be like this throughout the rest of the season, especially when it comes to the
Sana.
Final Four. Yeah.
Okay, I think before we end, I was thinking about this earlier, but we had to pause. You mentioned si Precious Momaway Maui. Actually, yung bolero ko for the day has to be the entire UE team. One, they
Yeah.
lost they lost Gerard Wilson. No, not for the reason that you're thinking. One, they lost Gerard Wilson, who is their only other playmaker aside from Ray Remogat. And I think these past two games have shown that they have no other playmakers available. And they struggle to score when their 3-point shot does not fall.
Yep.
They're a team that lives and dies by the 3-point shot. This is very obvious. This is the reason why they don't get to the free throw line a lot. Uh, but it was evident in the game earlier. They had a stretch of 7 to 8 minutes where they did not score anything. They were stuck at 21 for 7 to 8 minutes. Then that was in the second quarter. In the third quarter, they were stuck at 25 for, again, 5 to 6 minutes. It was a long stretch of game. It was a long stretch. They could not score because they couldn't hit their threes. And NU was just zoning in on Ray Remogat. They know the ball is going to him. They know he's the only guy who can create plays for them. And yung the loss of Gerard Wilson is now very apparent. They have to find a more creative way to get their shooters open or to find another playmaker on that bench. Because so far, it
Yeah.
looks like it's just Ray Remogat. And they're struggling right now on offense. They can't
Nagka-
get any flow. Oh,
Yeah,
it's Mamawi.
actually, Gab, I wanted to say nga when you mentioned yung the game kanina, but during their previous game against Adamson, they also had a quarter when they had no field goal. I think the second quarter. So it's pretty evident that they're really struggling as a team offensively when the 3-point shot is not falling. Momoe has been scouted finally after a few games. He was a surprise to start, but now teams have started to catch up even Riri Mogat. This is a guy that teams have marked as someone that they have to stop, trapping him when he gets past the half court line. So yeah, hopefully they find a way to get over this stretch. Don't blame the referees. Find another way. I mean, that for me, not because of Ateneo. I mean, I think they also mentioned some plays from the Adamson game. They have to play better. They have to find a way to get over the hump. We want every team to succeed. That's evident. We want a crazy UAAP season. So yeah, hopefully they fill the void that Gerard Wilson left. But it's actually pretty disheartening that the injury of Gerard Wilson happened also when they were starting to struggle. So hopefully they find another player to take his place. Yeah.
Okay. Sammy, or you have anything additional to say? You good? All right. So that's
I'm
it
good.
for our episode. Okay. So that's it for our episode for today. It's been a rough episode for Sammy. So I'll be the one signing us off for the day. As usual, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. To those who are giving their comments, thank you. We love we love reading and replying. Sometimes we reply really late. Sometimes your comments are really long, and we try to read them. Honestly, we try to read them all the time. But sometimes we get delayed. We do have jobs also during the weekday, so forgive us
Thank
for
you,
that. But
thank you.
we love the engagement.
We love
We
the
love the
engagement,
engagement.
definitely. We love the
Yes,
engagement.
yes.
Keep them coming.
Yep. You keep them coming, and see you this weekend. A lot of good games upcoming. I think Maui and I are watching Ateneo versus UP on Sunday. Sammy is possibly watching. So we'll see, if it's a close game again, if it's an exciting game, maybe we'll do another instant reactions podcast. But for now, this is Gab, Maui, and Sam for Boleros. See ya.